Say it.
Sing it!
Welcome to the GamePunx bonus round. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Ben.
And today we are physically sick punks.
Yeah. I have a horrible, crippling stomach ache, which just reminds me that I have internal organs, which is also a nightmare in of itself. And
It's pretty gross. Organs are nasty.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of organs, I want to think of like the organ, like the instrument. I don't want to think of the things inside my body.
Yeah. And like when you can feel the things inside your body, that's when it's worse.
Yeah, it's bad.
Because you're like,
I that.
this shouldn't be happening right now. You're supposed to be incognito, but you're not. You're causing me horrible.
The skeleton inside you is supposed to be incognito.
Yeah, the spooky skeleton inside of us all. Speaking of spooky skeletons, it's Spooky Skeleton Month. Yay!
It is. Well, I mean, it's September,
No.
but it might as well be October.
It's October. It's October.
It's October in our hearts.
It's always October in our hearts.
I don't know if I'm quite ready for the summer to be over yet. Maybe just because of quarantine.
Oh,
Keeping
yeah.
me locked in for such a long time. For the first time ever, I'm like, no summer, come back.
Yeah, I think... I mean, like, I'm pretty extremely introverted, but I think there was a couple of nights missing of, like, oh, yeah, hanging out after a show with friends in an alley. Or, like, biking home.
Yep.
At, like, 3 a.m. or whatever.
I miss hanging out with friends after a show in the alley. I that's something I cannot do because there are no shows.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I need alley beers. And those shows that are happening are, like, online. And if they're not, they're bad. Don't go.
I did watch a good online show the other week, though. That was pretty fun. It was a good time. But today's subject is a nice, nostalgic, easy one for us. This is going to be a little reminiscence on our first consoles. So the first consoles both of us ever really got into playing.
Yeah. And I'm going to call it right now, probably the shortest episode in GamePunx history.
No way. We got you. Not a chance.
I guess we can start off by going, like, before we owned even our first consoles.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Before we owned even our first consoles, did you just have any kind of gaming experience at all? Like, what were your memories of gaming before even owning a console for yourself?
Technically, it's weird, because my first technical console that I owned for myself was an N64 that was given to me around Christmas of 97, 98, something, 99 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, the actual first console I remember doing anything on was I was probably about 4?
All right.
Question mark? And my dad had a SNES, and he had a copy of Super Mario World, which is why that game has a special place in my heart. But only like the first couple of levels because I was a child, so I was very bad at them. And I'm bad at platformers in general, as we've discussed. So
true. I mean,
even going back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, the first level, second level, yeah. And anything past like the first Boo mansion, I'm kind of like, I don't remember none of this. And the other game was Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, a great game for little children.
Which makes so much sense. Anyone who knows me in real life. I
think that honestly explains a lot.
Yeah. And there was also, what was it? There was, because before I even owned an N64, I think my mom lived in like my parents had separated or whatever. So I went to go visit my mom for like a summer or something. And like I remember her playing Resident Evil 2 or maybe 1. It might have been 1. It was a zombie game. It was one of the Resident Evil games on the...
It was a spooky scare.
Yeah, it was a spooky scare. It might have been the PSX, actually. I don't remember. Anyway, I just remember it was Resident Evil, and I was like, wow, I'm too young for this.
I cannot process what is going on, and I'm not sure that I like that.
No, I liked it, but I was like...
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, I love this. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this, but I love it. And then the nightmares ensued, and I was like, yeah.
I really shouldn't have been watching that.
I shouldn't have watched that.
The nightmares are part of being a kid.
Yeah, it is. The damage is what makes you you.
I'm just a kid, and I have many nightmares.
I'm just a kid and I have many nightmares. Yeah, so Mortal Kombat 2 is probably the game I remember playing the most with my dad on the SNES, which was I'm gonna just say that was probably the first console we like technically owned. I think he got it like at a garage sale or some shit too, which was nice. Yeah,
that is pretty good.
Yeah, and
then I guess for me, before I even got like an N64. No, I know. Sorry, not an N64. I've never had an N64. I've never owned one in my life. Before I got my first console, which was not an N64, I have memories of my cousins playing things like the N64 around me when I was like a little kid. Because my cousins are all a lot older than me. Like most of them are like a good generation, maybe even 2 generations removed in terms of age.
Damn boomers.
So. Like some of my cousins were in their like mid to late teens when I was just a little kid.
Yeah.
And so they were all like peak PS1 and 64 teens. Some of my cousins were old enough to have been like straight up like NES teens. So like we had a lot of old consoles floating around. I remember my grandfather actually had an Atari 2600. Mm-hmm. So just to show you how old some of my cousins are, Atari 2600 was some of their first consoles. But for myself, yeah, some of my immediate cousins had an N64, and they also had a PSX. And so I remember going to my cousin's house during Christmas and stuff and seeing him and my other cousins sitting around playing like GTA on a PSX. And I remember my other cousins playing Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64.
The classic.
Yeah, pretty good, right? I mean, how could you not want to play that when you're all together at a family outing, right? Yeah. And then I also remember 2 of my other cousins who are a little closer in my age to me had inherited what do you call it? An SNES, and so they had an SNES on hand that I guess might have been maybe one of their cousins or something that they got. But we would play SNES all the time. I remember playing Mario Kart, like OG Mario Kart, and Super Mario World. And Super Mario World was like this mystical game that I never even got to play for myself until a lot later. And in my head, I was always just like, oh, I want to play that game. It was always so fun when I played it as a kid. And then that same cousin also had a Game Boy Color, and on that Game Boy Color, I played Pokemon Gold, and that is the game that made me want to play Pokemon games.
Gold.
And so which is why Gold is still like Gold/Heart Gold is still like the benchmark of Pokemon for me in my head. Like it's such a peak of quality for them.
I feel the same. I mean, even like just the fact that game had a day-night cycle was, as a child, the hypest shit.
It was mind blowing, and I remember kind of being a little disappointed when you play Sapphire and Ruby, and the day-night cycle is gone, but the clock still has like a clock function.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird that it didn't have day-night, but anyway, was like.
I mean, they even took it out to like super recently, which is.
Yeah, which is a little odd that they
I
did that.
Really
I mean, there is no day-night cycle in Sword and Shield.
Oh, they took it out again? God.
Yeah, there is none.
You know what? Fine.
There are like areas in the game that are just, you don't ever see them in the day or the night, you know?
Yeah.
Like they have a set kind of, because there's areas like Wedgehurst, which are just kind of like
cloudy.
Yeah, like just they're very bright and sunny all the time.
Oh yeah.
But I get it, I guess. It's a development thing. Sometimes it's harder and easier. I'm not going to harp on it.
I mean, I'm not going to harp on it. It's just one of those things that I really like in like video games. Is just have a little.
I mean, I always tell people the peak of Pokemon, honestly, even more so than Heart Gold and Gold for me, is maybe the Black and White and Black and White 2 games, because they have both a seasonal cycle and a day-night cycle. Seasons and day and night. Yeah. So there we go. That's pretty freaking great. But yeah, I just remember having, like, once again, for like games like Super Mario World, Mario 64, of course, lovely classic games like GTA, and Pokemon Gold, like this mystical reverence in my mind for these things that I never owned but would love to own one day. I would love to be able to sit down and fully play on my own without like my cousins looming over my shoulder or feeling like being told by their parents to give me, their stupid cousin, the controller and have it go. You know? Something that I could fully play on my own.
Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox.
Exactly, which is, I guess, luckily, I did end up getting my own console in 2003, because my first console was the Game Boy Advance. So I got it like 2 years after it came out.
Yeah, which is fine. That game had a beefy life cycle.
I had the best version of the console being the very good backlit Game Boy Advance SP, the red edition.
The Holy Grail.
I still have it. It is still in excellent condition. Still works. I still got my charger for it and everything.
That was my problem with my SP is I lost the charger.
So you're fucked when you have no charger.
I was like, oh boy.
But one of the best things about the SP, apart from it being backlit, which wrecks and is why the original Game Boy Advance is still a piece of poo-poo.
Oh yeah, in comparison, ridiculous.
Just like it doesn't eat battery life either. But like all Game Boy Advance models, it was backwards compatible. So I did eventually get to play Pokemon Gold, and I did eventually get to play all these great Game Boy games that I had seen my cousins and other family members at family reunions play. You know. And it was like a pretty cool experience to get to play these games that I for so long had sought after and built up in my mind as like this crazy benchmark of high quality that me, a mere child, would never be able to grasp or touch.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good time. But yeah, I really took to that thing. Like I got it when I was 7 years old. So you can imagine all the fun like a 7-year-old is going to have when they get their first video game console. I was through the roof happy. I got a game immediately with it, like as the gift.
Yeah.
The game I got was the Bionicle Mask of Light 2003 GBA game.
It's all coming together now.
not a good game, very bad. And for a while I thought I sucked at video games because I wasn't able to get through that game. It wasn't that I sucked at video games because I wasn't able to get through that game. It's that game sucked, and also I'm not very good at video games.
That's how I felt about God, what was it? There's one game that my friend had. Oh God, it was the Friday the 13th game on the NES, the original NES.
Oh yeah, that game. Oh boy,
like
now that's a notorious piece of shit.
Jesus. And
you were like, I thought I'm so bad at this.
Yeah, I was like, why can't I beat the video game? There is.
Oh.
It was.
That's really, really funny.
Yeah, I have fond memories of trying to beat that game with a friend and just being like, what the fuck? And then finding out like years later being like, yo, that game just sucked.
Oh wait, that game sucks. It's not me that's bad. And then I play a game that takes skill and I am bad.
Oh yeah. Well.
But I mean, yeah, when I had that Bionicle Mask of Light game, was not good. Two other games that I got really early on for it were, I think the second game I ever got was Yoshi's Island, the port of Yoshi's Island for the Game Boy Advance. It would be like Super Mario Brothers Advance for Yoshi's Island.
Oh yeah, or like Super Mario World for some shit. It's super weird.
It's Super Mario Advance was like the name of the Game Boy Advance ports of these great Mario games, and so the things that they would add to them, apart from like a huge graphical upgrade for like some of the really early ones, like of the NES games got like
they got
massive upgrades, but they changed the aspect ratio a little bit on them too to suit the screen size of the GBA.
That's not good.
Which was never a huge issue, but definitely changes a little bit how they look. And they added a lot of voice clips to the games, especially to the ones that didn't have any. To the extent that, like, Super Mario Advance 1, which is a port of Mario Brothers 2, like the American Mario Brothers 2, is, like, notorious for the characters just not shutting the fuck up the whole game. And so if you ever watch a clip of it, you hear Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad just going, like, just what I needed! And, like, aha! And it's really fucking annoying. The whole way through, it's obnoxious as shit. It's so, like, please shut the fuck up, please.
I love Toad.
So, yeah, those games are, like, quite interesting. But the fourth port that they did was, because the third one was Mario I believe the third one they did was Mario 3. Then after Mario 3, they brought over Mario World 2, aka Yoshi's Island. And that game, not only, I mean, I'll be honest, as far as ports go, it doesn't really hold a candle to the original. The original Yoshi's Island on SNES, which I've gotten around to playing in the time since, is like a much smoother experience because of just the controls not all being mapped out to the 2 buttons and the shoulder buttons of the Game Boy. Like, the controls just work better on the SNES's controller. But it's still a really fun port because it's Yoshi's Island portable, and it is a true 32-bit system, unlike the Yoshi's Island on the SNES, which is like a 16-bit system with a Super Effects chip pushing the look of a 32X, or a 32X, like a 32-bit game, but not being fully 32-bit, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like a few graphical flourishes and details that are pretty nice. The music is the worst thing that is changed on those ports, honestly. The music just sounds worse coming out of those little Game Boy speakers, and it's just not optimized nicely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, not like those other games had like great stereophonic sound or anything like that. But, you know, they definitely kind of sound like shit coming out of a mono speaker. But like Yoshi's Island on Game Boy Advance was like something that I played all the time. And another game that I got super early on was the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh god,
game,
on the Game Boy?
On the Game Boy Advance.
I saw that on I saw that in one of the pawn shops when I was still living in Ashlag, and I remember just being like, "Oh, I gotta get that."
Interestingly, kind of like those other early Harry Potter games, it wasn't based on the movie. It was closely based on the book, more so, with a few elements of the movie thrown in with like some of the character designs, but it has characters from the books too. That game is like a weird isometric view adventure game that like is trying to do a billion things at once and kind of not succeeding at any of them, because it's a collectathon platformer set in like a pretty sprawling open Hogwarts, but like a lot of shit is gated off with progress.
Okay, so it's like a Metroidvania.
A little bit, and the boss battles are like really shitty and kind of unfair and difficult because the isometric perspective makes it hard to aim your spells. And, like, for example, your firing button for your spells was, like, the B button. And when you hold B, you could charge the spell and, like, pivot Harry around. But the isometric perspective was so fucking difficult to get a grasp on as a child. Because it's, like, I was so used to side-scrollers at that point, and I had never owned a console with 3D graphics, and so I wasn't used to playing 3D games. It was, like, almost trying to learn a whole new language to even get decent at that game. But yeah, it's kind of difficult, and the R button was the jump button, which is insane. But it had like a it's nuts. And, there's isometric platforming in which your platforming jumping button is the R button.
What?
The Game Boy Advance R button. I believe the A button was like the action button. Generally,
make the R button the action button.
I know, it's very stupid.
Like, come on.
It was a bad control scheme, but the game had like a billion fucking collectibles. Like, it was like a truly collectathon type game.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Chamber of Secrets game, even on the GameCube best version, was like super heavily collectathon.
Yeah, like if you're not collecting chocolate frog cards, you're collecting like every flavor beans.
Yeah, beans. There was also
there's certain
wizard cards
spells
too.
Are almost a collectible. Yeah, those are the frog cards.
Oh yeah, no, they are. Yeah, that's true.
But all of those and like going through the gallery and seeing all the things you collected, it's pretty neat. But there was also like a variety of upgrades and stuff that you could get. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty fine game. All things, as far as licensed games go, it's not a bad one for a kid to own. But some of the shit with the isometric perspective is just like, fuck this. And once again, it's one of those things that like made me think for a while that I sucked at video games, when I just came to the realization later on that no, the game was just kind of like designed unfairly.
Yeah, well, it's like Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Just like these old like in between games where people were still trying shit out and there wasn't a lot of polish yet. Where you're just like, what the fuck? Why am I so bad at this? And it's like, oh, it's because it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the game that's bad.
And then like the fourth little game that I had for the GBA that I want to talk about was was Pokemon Sapphire, which I believe was like the fourth ever game I ever got for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that game changed my fucking life. I was literally just 2 seconds ago shit talking how it didn't have a proper day-night cycle, but forget what I said there. Pokemon Sapphire is a wonderful Pokemon game to start off with. So Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, the original Hoenn games are very good. They're so full of they're so full of secrets, so full of interesting like things to look around and explore in the the Hoenn region. All the stuff that you could do when you dive underwater and all the places that you could explore there, cool. Mirage Island, one of the coolest mysteries in the Pokemon series.
Yeah.
It's still entirely random whether or not it shows up, which is kind of crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah, and just a variety of really interesting things to do, like when you go to the undersea cavern and you need to go and I think it's called the sealed cavern to get the Reggies, and you need to interpret like the sigils, and the sigils tell you like how to organize your party so that the door opens and you can open up all the different ruins across Hoenn to get the Reggies. So many cool things. It's just an astounding amount for a game, and for like Pokemon's first first proper 16/32-bit game. It was really impressive. It's like quite the feat of technology and engineering that they were able to do so much with it. And, it really is small potatoes that they couldn't pack a day-night cycle in there too.
Yeah, it is.
Because the real-time clock is kind of nuts how well it works.
Yeah, and also the... I feel like what was it called? The hideouts were a pretty good trade-off for that.
Oh yes, the secret bases.
Yeah,
the link connectivity in that game was off the chain. Going to other players' secret bases, which were so fun to design. I loved making a secret base.
Yeah, and I'd always go save there. Like I'd always fly back to my secret base and save there because I was like, "This is like my
your
home
little
now."
house.
Yeah,
exactly. I would do that too. And I mean, what a wonderful set of starter Pokemon in that game with Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic. The first time in the whole series, in my opinion, still the first time where all three of them are equal. They're all equal in quality. The only time that they ever got to that again for me was with the some of the more recent ones, I guess, because I actually did really like all the starters for Sword and Shield, and I liked all the starters for Sun and Moon. But with all the other games, there was at least one starter I'm not keen on. Like, I'll be honest, not a huge Charmander fan.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't love Charmander.
Charmander's overrated.
He is. I like Charizard, but I never cared for Charmander, and it's like I never wanted to put myself through the whole process of training a Charmander just to get a Charizard.
Yeah.
But I've always liked Bulbasaur and Venusaur. And once again, with Johto, not a huge Chikorita fan.
I love Chikorita.
Chikorita's cute, I get it,
Johto,
but not a huge fan.
Johto's a pretty strong one too for me. I like all three of them.
I love Totodile to bits. He's like my baby, and I do like Cyndaquil.
Adorable.
Cyndaquil is undeniably cute. I feel like maybe it's just because Chikorita of the two of them isn't immediately recognizable as an animal.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what is it? It's a thing, and then later on it's like a dinosaur. But like, you're looking at it initially, and you're like, fuck is this?
It's
It is a seed with legs? Question mark.
We think
it's got buds around its neck. It's like a little guy. It's a little man. He's a little man.
He's not. That's not a Pokemon. That's my son.
That's a man. That's when people look at like a Mr. Mime mistaking it for a human.
Oh god.
Ugh, creepy. But Hoenn was really like, to me, it was like you have your pick of like 3 quality starter Pokemon, and I mean personally I went with Trico, and then when I later replayed the Hoenn games for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I picked Mudkip. But I do love Torchic, and I do think Torchic is great, and I love Torchic and its evolutions. So you'll never catch me shit-talking Torchic. I do like me a Torchic. And I just overall, like, I have such fond memories of the Game Boy Advance, I guess. Like, I never got too many games for it, but I have, like, a lot of... I don't know, just a lot of fond memories, like my first proper Pokemon game that I owned myself, playing it on there, rediscovering old games for the first time by buying old Game Boy games secondhand and playing games like Wario Land, which is still one of my favorite platformers of all time, playing the original Super Mario Brothers on Game Boy through Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. Which is not even the ideal way to play that game because it's in like a squared off aspect ratio and the sprites are so fucking huge on the screen. It's like playing Mario, but square. Not great. Playing the original Mario Bros. Like on those ports that they did for the Mario games. Like they would all come with a port of Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
The arcade game. And that's really fun. And of course I discovered on the Game Boy, because that was my Nintendo Power era, Final Fantasy IV, which is still to this day like my favorite game of all time. It's a game I am obsessed with. Its characters I am obsessed with. It's the entry point for me into the Final Fantasy games. And that is like, could I owe it a bigger debt than introducing it to a series that has come to like define my tastes? And of course the Mega Man Zero games, another set of games that are hugely influential to me in my taste in games and in media. Just like Mega Man Zero / Final Fantasy, these are things that without the Game Boy Advance in my life, I maybe would have never played. Because the only reason I ever became curious about Final Fantasy, reading that article on Final Fantasy IV when they remade it for the Game Boy Advance. Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason I went into playing Final Fantasy. That's Final Fantasy IV is, apart from Pokemon, that's like my entry point into RPGs. Fair enough. Like, a lot of people can play Pokemon and never play another RPG in their life.
Because I mean,
and I honestly might have been that kid.
Yeah.
If not for my interest in Final Fantasy IV prompting me to want to play it, borrowing it from a friend, playing through it and having it freaking blow my little like 8-year-old mind to pieces. Like, it was just...
I think the game that got me into JRPGs super hard was Golden Sun, which is also a Game Boy Advance game.
An amazing Game Boy Advance game. Yeah, I never owned Golden Sun, but I've played both it and its 2 sequels, and I do own the DS game Dark Dawn.
Yeah.
Which we will probably end up doing a Touch Generations on that, because there are a lot of belated sequels for the DS. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the ones that's really interesting to talk about, because it's like kind of the point in which the series died.
Yeah.
Which is a sad thing to think about, because it's actually not that bad a game. There's a lot of belated sequels on the DS. That is like a whole other podcast, but it's an interesting one. But yeah, let's hear a little bit of your N64 memories.
Yeah, my N64. I actually had to look up one of the games that was my favorite because I didn't know what the fuck it was called.
Oh boy.
But it's a little game called Chopper Attack from Midway. Was the publisher.
Oh, is that the one where you're playing as a little RC chopper?
No, that's
no.
It's you'd think that's a Army Men chopper or something. That's the Army Men one. Okay. Which is also a very fun game.
Army Men is a fun kind of game.
But
because you're playing as toy scale.
Yeah, Chopper Attack is just real helicopters.
Okay.
Behind D. Or real helicopters. I don't know much about helicopters. They're also not real. Clearly, drone technology was not up to par in 1997.
Probably not. No.
But it was a very fun game. It was mission based, where you had to like defeat the enemy base, and then like within a time limit, and like it got like difficulty got ramped up. It was kind of like Rogue Squadron, but a little clunkier.
With Widow helicopters.
Yeah, Widow helicopters and actual war crimes.
Actual war crimes. Not Star War crimes.
No, not Star War crimes. Earth War crimes.
Oh boy.
So yeah, there was that. And Rogue Squadron, of course, was one of my number one games of all time on the N64 too. That was like the first game I think he got me. I have very, very fond memories of all the secret cars and bullshit that Rogue Squadron came with.
That's cool.
You had a DeLorean that you could unlock.
There's a DeLorean in Rogue Squadron?
Yeah, there's a...
I was not even aware of that.
There's a cheat code for a DeLorean. I believe it's a DeLorean. It's some kind of car. I just remember attributing it to the Back to the Future car, but it might not be an actual DeLorean. I'm pretty sure it is, though.
That's kind of awesome if it is. That's like a thing straight for me.
Yeah, there's the Millennium Falcon, too. I believe there was also a thing... Was it Rogue Squadron? Yeah, it had to be Rogue Squadron, because Rogue Squadron 2 was Naboo Fighter, so that was already out. But you could unlock the Naboo starship in Rogue Squadron 1.
Yes, I do remember that, actually, because I was watching a video on Star Wars games, and they spoke about how it was like, before the movie even came out, they were merchandising it, and that's a way that they did it there.
Yeah, and boy did it work, because I still think that the Naboo starfighter is a pretty tight ship design.
It is. I like those weird, sleek, chromium kind of Naboo ships. They're neat looking.
Super strange.
Naboo. You say what you want about the prequels, but what I like about the prequels is that each planet really has like a strong visual identity. It's something that's good about all Star Wars planets, really.
Yeah.
But like just in like the looking at the ship designs, you can see like, oh yeah, that's a ship from Naboo.
Yeah, that's a Naboo ship, and then the X-wings.
Like it's sleek. It's got a bit of chrome on it. You know.
Yeah. Another honorable mention, a game that I never beat, but I rented at least twice. We're not going to spend too long on it because it's not very good, but the theme song is a bop.
Is that Buck Bumble?
It is Buck Bumble.
I knew it when you said it's not good, but the theme song is a bop, because yeah, the Buck Bumble theme fucks.
It just slaps so Bumble. Hard. Nothing,
it's so good.
Nothing can hold a candle to the Buck Bumble theme.
I mean, how many games just have like a dub theme?
None. How many?
None.
Like, how many?
None.
Bickety buck bumble bumble buckety boo doo boo doo doo. Dude, it's just so good. It doesn't stop.
It's super catchy. It never ends. Yeah, it never fucking ends. Plays all throughout like every part of the game, pretty much.
Yeah,
They really got their money's worth with that one.
I feel like that's probably one of the downsides of the game is like. Because I only rented it twice and never got very far, so I'm still like, yeah, no, that song's great, but if, like, you spent hours and hours playing the game, you're probably like, alright.
No more Buck Bumble theme, please.
Please, I've had enough.
I'm getting tired. I don't need any more of this sultry Caribbean tones.
The bass, it slaps. Please. Please, can we stop?
That game, if I recall, it's kind of like a little shooter, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Star Foxy type thing.
Yes, you play as a fucking bee.
Yeah, you play as a bee.
Like a bee who's edgy.
An edge bee.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It's one of those like 90s mascot attempts, you know?
It really is. They tried, they banged it out with the song and everything else just kind of fell apart. Even like design-wise, You're just kind of like, yeah, that's what a bee would look like if he was made of not a lot of polygons.
Like an edgy cartoon character.
Yeah,
bee.
and you know what? Actually, he seems more like a Yellow Jacket, if I'm being honest. But
oh, okay, like a proper little wasp. Then.
Yeah, little shit.
Little fuckers. I hate fucking hornets and wasps. I hate them. But yeah, that game is not good.
It's
but
not
that
good, but that song
is great.
If you have not heard that song, go listen to it. I
promise
it's way better than
theme.
my acapella version.
It is a really, really good little tune. Oh god, rental games. Was there anything else that you would rent a lot?
Banjo 1, I rented a bunch until I finally got it. I like Banjo. It's not.
You're allowed.
Yeah,
you're allowed to be wrong.
Like I like it. It's one of those nostalgia things, right? Where like going back to play it, I'm like, oh god, oh no, and I can understand
they're
anyone
frustrating
who
games.
didn't rent this at the age of like 8 and go, wow, this is fun. It's like Mario, but it's a bear.
It's Mario, but he's a bear. They should call him Bario.
Bario and Kazubi.
Kazuigi.
Never mind.
No.
Yeah.
No. But Yeah, I remember actually when I remember going to like Videotron Super Club to rent games, right? And I would always see the N64 boxes and be like, "Man, I wish I had one of those just so I could play this one here. What the fuck is a Majora's Mask?
Yeah, what the
You know,
hell
like,
is a Majora's Mask?
I wish I could play that."
A shout out too to the N64 for having like some of the last and strongest boxes.
Yeah, there's
like,
there's something very
cartridges.
toyetic about those big old boxes.
Yeah, and like it's just the art was always so good.
Yeah.
Um,
There's nothing quite like a cardboard box with a cartridge in it.
Yeah, no, I mean I have my DK64 box and my Spider-Man 64 box somewhere. I have the actual Pokemon Stadium 2, but the Japanese version, so the Pokemon Stadium we actually got.
That's really cool.
Sitting on my shelf over there. It's probably my most like prized box. I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Those, yeah, N64 boxes, there's something so alluring about them because they're so big and chonky, and they have just like a big old fuck off picture on them.
Yeah, just like box art. And there's no like IGN's rated 10 out of 10 best.
Yeah, there's no
like
fucking stupid stickers or fucking text all over them. It's usually just like game.
Nintendo licensed.
That's what I really liked about the Game Boy Advance boxes too. They were cardboard, you had the cartridge in them.
Yeah.
And they're super appealing.
They are. They make, as a kid, like seeing those shells filled with the boxes and just being like, that picture looks cool.
Oh yeah,
It's got Marbibo on it.
The pinnacle of awesome. There's nothing like, there was really nothing like going to the store and looking at all the rental boxes, even for consoles you didn't have.
Yeah, and I mean, strong shout out to the game that I'm about to talk about, which was a game that I got, I believe, for my birthday, which was the Super Smash Bros. On the 64 box art.
Oh, of course. That's a fun cartoony drawing.
It is so good.
Yeah, it is good. And that game is great.
I just love that box art so much because you've got Kirby, you've got Link, you've like seeing that as a kid, you're just like, what is happening here? Pikachu.
I love how Link looks on that box art.
Yeah.
And I like how Samus looks on that box art too.
Yeah, and Fox is a little weird, but
he looks a little funny.
He's strange.
But that is a really fun game. That's, you know what, I never had Melee is the Super Smash Brothers game that always immediately comes to my mind.
I mean, I think
because I never played the original until a lot later.
Yeah, I think that's most people, honestly. Smash on the 64 is the only one I think of because it's basically the only one I've played outside of Ultimate. I mean, I have played Melee, I've played Brawl, but not enough. Like, I'd always play with friends and be like, haha, can we play Street Fighter or something?
Can we play a real fighting game?
Yeah, I want to. There's no quarter circle motions in this. What's happening?
This fighting game doesn't even have sexy ladies.
What do you mean, down B? Where's the down boobs?
The down boobs. Oh man, I wish I had played a lot of fighting games when I was a kid, so I could have found out I was a horny queer person much earlier.
Yeah.
There's no attractive men. There's no attractive like men in those early fighting games. They're all just these polygonal fuckers.
Yeah.
I wish I could have played a sexy 2D fighting game.
I don't know, Vega, even Street Fighter 2 Vega, you're kind of like, hold on, what's going on here?
I like Vega. Vega's pretty. Vega's kind of hot. Vega fucks. I mean,
Vega does fuck.
With nothing wrong with Ken and Ryu. They're both good-looking guys.
Hot Ryu from Street Fighter 5 is peak Ryu though.
Oh, like Beard Ryu?
Yeah.
Dad Ryu?
Hobo Ryu.
Yeah, Hobo Ryu. I like the Ryu that looks like he doesn't shower.
Yeah. He probably smells horrible. I want to go drink
probably
sake
does.
with him.
But yeah, that is something that I kind of wish I did more as a kid, was play more like 2D fighting games. But not a lot of 2D fighting games on the Game Boy Advance, and even less good ones.
Hold on, because that could be actually a bonus round episode where I just throw the encyclopedia of 2D fighting games that came out on the Game Boy.
Oh boy. I mean,
the Advance doesn't have very many, but the Game Boy Color
not the Advance.
is
has kind of a lot.
Oh, so a surprising amount, and up
some
until
of them are not bad either, from what I understand.
Yeah, Power Quest is one that I'm going to talk about super hard.
Ooh.
Because that was one of my favorite fighters when I was like a wee lad to just play on the bus to school and shit.
We could do that. 2D fighters on consoles where they don't belong.
Yep.
That's really, really neat, actually. But yeah, I don't know. There's something kind of magic about the first console you get, right?
Yeah,
because those games that you play, they really stick with you.
I mean, the N64 I have in front of me right now, like under my TV, raring to go, is my original N64 from winter of 1990, whatever. I think 97.
Oh god, that's so crazy to me.
I know, yeah, that big shout outs to my dad for that one, because that was at his house for a very, very long time.
What a good gift.
Yep.
What a great freaking gift. It took me such a long time to convince my parents to get me a Game Boy. It was a lot of convincing.
I want to play video games.
I really wanted to play, but it was I did get to play eventually, which was good. But
and I mean, and
then I got a DS, and I mean after that it's like DS
downhill.
and a GameCube. The rest is history. You made a gamer out of me. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Sorry, Mom. I have to add TM to the back of my name. The end. Jesus.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. I don't play game because I have no life.
Yeah.
I game because I choose to have many.
Jesus Christ. And yeah, I mean, I could go off forever about my N64 library that I had, because it was pretty extensive, and if it wasn't, it was a bunch of shit that I rented a lot until I beat it. So like I just looked up the list of all the games on the N64, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot. I played most of these.
It has a relatively small library, so you could feasibly have played all of them.
Oh, real quick shout out to Rescue Force, Power Rangers Rescue Force on Nintendo 64.
Oh, Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible mess of a game. Probably one of my favorites.
I think Stop Skeletons from Fighting did a bit on that a little while ago.
Oh yeah, he did. It's a horrible mess.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. It looked so stupid and enjoyable.
It's very strange.
I wonder if it was a Sentai game that they translated to English.
Weird.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if that's what it is. I'm kind of curious. It might be.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to look into that, because there's a history of that. And then there's a history of them making just like a Power Rangers game, like what they did with the MMPR games, which are completely original 2D brawlers.
Yeah,
those were not Sentai games that were just adapted.
No, the SNES MMP game is the best.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is a really, really fun beat 'em up, like really, really fun. It's just like you feel super OP in it. It's great.
Yeah.
Those games do a very good job of making you feel like a ranger.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, the little
it's something that the only other ranger game that ever did that was Battle for the Grid.
Yep.
Yeah, where you truly feel like a ranger and you have all their abilities at your disposal. I played some bad Power Rangers games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's I
mean, Lightspeed Rescue is by no means one of the good ones.
No, it's not a good Power Rangers game, but it is a fun game. It's barely true enough, honestly. You do get to see those cool cutscenes though.
Yep. Of
the combining and stuff like that. That's really neat. And I love the mechs in Lightspeed Rescue. They're some of the coolest in the whole series.
Yeah. I remember
I love like the fire truck ladder arms on the main mecha.
Yes.
So cool.
I think that was probably peak me liking
Power Rangers?
Yes. Sorry, I read a headline that made me
drop your jaw for a second.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I can
I'll tell you
imagine
after
what it is. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess this would be a pretty good place to end it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Unless you had any other games you wanted to mention.
No, I think I've I've hit the peak of my, because I mean, if I keep going, I'm gonna keep going. There's Pokemon Snap. There's like the Spider-Man 64 game. There's Pokemon Stadium. Like I had all those pretty early. I was very, of course, I don't know how, but my dad.
You just cannot fuck with some of the games on the N64. Yeah. That is a fun console.
And like I was very lucky in that, like, I think my family helped out a lot though. But like I got games for the N64 like crazy.
Yep. That's really that's really awesome that you ended up having a good collection. Did you have any of the Zeldas?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, very cool. Both of those games are amazing.
Yes.
Like they're both grade A classics.
They're very good. I believe
rightly celebrated.
I think Ocarina of Time's a little overhyped.
Well, yeah, but of course, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
As any game that is frequently referred to as the greatest game of all time would be.
Yeah.
But still entirely deserving of the fair praise.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I think we've already talked about my personal opinion of Majora's Mask. Which is that I don't like countdown mechanics. They make me nervous.
Yeah, it is not for you.
No. So
I love that game as like a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I most admire.
I can appreciate it, but I don't ever want to play it. I think I genuinely think it's a bad game, but I understand why people like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I'm not saying anyone who does like it is stupid. I'm just saying you're wrong.
It means that your subjective opinion is objectively incorrect.
Yes.
No, that game I do really like Majora's Mask, and I think that it's the more times you take a crack at it, the easier it gets.
Yeah,
but it's a game it's a game that is entirely about managing time, and if you have anxiety, goodbye.
Yeah, and I'm also just it is a game that is not made managing for you. Time. In real life.
It has like a lot of really cool ideas in it, though. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very influential game with good reason.
Yeah, of course, and that moon is iconic. And you know what? It's actually super funny. No, I can't. Never mind. I was gonna say something, but it's spoilers for something else.
Oh, okay.
It's another one of my favorite games ever. That was
just a fun little. Oh, there you go. That was a fun little trip down memory lane, I think.
Indeed.
I was happy I got to talk about Pokemon Sapphire a little bit. I do like that game a lot.
Yeah,
but
my stomach is still killing me, but I had a good time.
And to put to bed that stupid Harry Potter game. But it's now we can go back to being sick punks.
Yeah, go bury that hatchet that is the Harry Potter game.
There we go. I have been Ryan. You can find me on social media at Nouveau Art Punk, all one word. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. You can catch me making the tweets or Insta-ing the grams. You can also hit me up on Letterboxd if you want to read about movies I watched. I just reviewed a movie called Standing Up, Falling Down that I watched over Labor Day weekend. That was not that good. It wasn't a good movie, and it wasted the people that were in it. But if you want to watch me nerd about movies, you can just read those. And where can people find you, Ben?
I am. Oh God, hold on. Ugh, God. Big burps. I am Scratch Me Silly, literally everywhere. What was I gonna say? I stream mostly. That's twitch.tv/scratchmesilly. I was supposed to stream tonight, but given the current dying thing, I'm just gonna cancel tonight's stream because fuck that.
Reasonable decision.
I even, like, earlier I was like, am I streaming? What would I stream? My stomach hurts. I don't really want to play a fighting game while I'm in crippling horrible pain. Would Fall Guys be? No, nothing. I don't want to play anything.
But your typical stream schedule is
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights.
Yeah.
And then if there's some sprinklage that is able to happen in between, then I usually try to hop on. That's usually all announced on my Twitter. But for the rest of the night, you can follow me on Twitter, and I will be complaining about my stomach pain and sharing memes and things.
Maybe stomach pain memes.
Yeah, stomach pain memes. I actually shared one yesterday before this happened, so I find it very ironic.
Oh, wow. Maybe you cursed yourself.
I think I did. I shared a back pain one, too, and my back pain today was off the charts, so...
Ooh.
Maybe it's subliminal. Maybe the memes have more power than we give them.
It's like a voodoo memes.
Yeah, because see, it's in my Instagram stories right now. It's the "I'm gonna fucking die" disease. Back hurts a bit too much for a bit too long, and stomach hurts a bit too much for a bit too long.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm like, yeah, that's that was today.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking die disease. I certainly have that.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you everybody for having a listen. Take it easy and have yourselves a good evening. Night night.
Bye everyone.